Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, Star Wars, the box office is in. I was having a look at Box Office Mojo. Basically, it's not unexpected, but expected. The people were expecting it to be less than the Last Jedi. The Last Jedi, I think, was 220 million for the opening weekend. People were thinking 195 million. Well, it went under that by about 20 million. So it's actually 175.5 million for its opening weekend. And so people are talking about how much less that is and blah, blah, blah. But we kind of knew that was happening because we kind of knew that the Last Jedi had hurt Star Wars, and it was going to affect this film. So the actual okay. So it was 175.5 million for its domestic for the opening weekend. International was 198 million. So its worldwide is 373.5 million. Now, if we look at the days, now its Thursday previews was 40 million. They were actually estimating that to be 45 to 48 million, but then they had to pull that back a bit to just 40 million when they actually looked at it. Friday did 90 million. Saturday only did 47.5 million. That's pretty low. And Sunday 38 million. So I'm a little bit surprised that it didn't do better on the weekends. It did better on the Friday. Okay. Now a lot of people are going to be like, "What are they talking about? How's it not a hit? It's already made 400, nearly $400 million, blah blah." But how much did it cost? They spent a lot of money on these films. They spent a lot of money on Star Wars, and they've also spent a lot of money apparently on reshoots. The rumors are that they did several versions of the film. The original version had a different villain and everything that was based on some extended universe stuff, and one of the characters that came from Clone Wars, that they pulled him out. They did Palpatine instead. They brought George Lucas in, who apparently wrote in a new Skywalker character or something, and then they decided not to go with that, and the rumor is that that's why he can go to the premiere, that they burned him twice. Cause it's really weird, they bought his treatment for the movies and then kind of just used parts of it, and then Ryan Johnson came in and tossed everything aside to subvert expectations, and people weren't happy. They brought JJ in because the other guy left because he couldn't do the movie how he envisioned it without Luke being alive. And then JJ sort of was supposed to have sat down with George and came up with an idea, but then they changed that. They didn't think that was going to be commercial enough, so they went with Palpatine because he's recognizable and they think he brings it back full circle. So there's been a lot of press and a lot of rumors, and a lot of people weren't happy with the last film. And the strange thing now is a lot of people are not happy with this film because they feel like the fans of The Last Jedi are not happy that they've walked back a lot of stuff and undid a lot of stuff, and they feel like, the old school fans have won, and there are a lot of fans reacting badly to that, screaming in the cinema, swearing. It's really crazy, the fanaticism. And I remember when I saw Revenge of the Sith. I know I've gone off box office, but I remember when I saw Revenge of the Sith. There was a lady in front of me in the first row who, when the Jedi were all being killed, she was having some kind of breakdown. She was crying hysterically, and it was like these were real people to her. And I was just like, I've never seen someone react like that to a film in my life. And I've seen some videos of the same thing, and someone punched someone for using their phone. It's a bit crazy at the moment, but I think ultimately people are enjoying the film. Some people are hating it, some people are enjoying it, and I think the box office, they're saying it's actually going to do fairly well in the second week or in the first week, more so than the weekend, because Christmas is during the week, that people have the whole week, and people will be going out seeing it sort of after Christmas, and it's going to do well, but it is going to do less than The Last Jedi, which did 700 million less than The Force Awakens. So the brand on some level is kind of tarnished. A lot of people weren't happy with Jedi, and now the people who they fixed the film for they were sort of disillusioned, and then the new fans who loved The Last Jedi are not happy that they've walked back a bunch of stuff. So it's kind of that situation where they couldn't make anyone happy. If they walked the stuff back from Jedi, they were going to piss off the people who like Jedi. If they didn't, I have a bit of sympathy for JJ. He kind of was in between a rock and a hard place. I don't think he's the best writer. I think he's really good at doing spectacle and directing. I don't think he's a great writer. I think they should have had someone else come in. And there are things they did. The MacGuffin, they didn't need it. I mean, why couldn't they just have, we've got a signal from the Emperor and he's in this location, we have to go there. Why do we have to run around trying to find these MacGuffins? It's just a lot of time wasted when they would have been better off focusing on the characters and exposition for other elements and situations of the story. So, but that's the thing. It is an enjoyable film. You can just sort of sit back and enjoy it, but there are a lot of plot holes and logic holes and issues that, if you really think about, get annoying. It makes it harder to review it. But either way, it's doing okay on the money. It's not going to make as much as, certainly not going to make as much as The Force Awakens, where it had so much goodwill, where everyone was just so excited to come back and see Star Wars again. I saw the film twice. I've never seen any of the Star Wars films twice before that. But The Last Jedi kind of killed that, and they kind of brought it back a bit, but there's backlash, and it's a bit of a mess. It's not, I don't think it's going to make more than The Last Jedi. Some people are saying it will. I don't think it will. It doesn't have that as much goodwill as they think for being the last film. A lot of people are saying, well, it's the last film, so it's going to be like Endgame. I'm like, no, Endgame had the great lead up. This doesn't have that. So, well, those are the stats. Now, Cats, oh my god, while I'm here, Cats got Spayed. It was bad, and the weird thing about Cats is apparently they put it in the cinemas unfinished, and they told all the theatre owners, we'll have a new digital copy for you to, like, download and screen in a few days or next week, because apparently they didn't finish some of the effects. Apparently the faces aren't on properly, the hands aren't done, there's a lot of things that are wrong, and they're going to get an updated version. And I'm not sure I've ever heard of that happening before. I've heard of a few films going into the cinema with missing shots that weren't finished, but the idea that they're just like, just take this now and we'll give you the finished one next week. We can kind of do that in a digital era now. They just download a new one. There's not sending out physical prints that cost millions of dollars to make, thousands of them. I think when the first Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, they were missing a shot that they didn't finish, in that they literally had to send a piece of film out, is what I've heard. I still haven't worked out if this is true, and put it into the film, so they would be in there for the second weekend or something. And Star Trek The Motion Picture, they inserted the last couple of effects shots into all these film canisters sitting on a giant soundstage, and they all flew out the next day. So things like that have happened in Hollywood before, but this is sort of a new thing, and it's a bit of a worry, because are they going to be putting out stuff and then revising it the next week and the next week, and I don't know. But yeah, Cats only made a few million. I really should check actually how much it made, but Cats didn't do well. Cats. How much did it make? Why can't I see? I can't find Cats. Ooh, 6.5 million. Ooh, that's really bad. It cost 100 million plus advertising. So there we go. But it is just weird and surreal. I don't know how it got made. I don't know how anyone thought it would work. But that's just, I'm not even going to go into that. I've already talked too long about other stuff. But yeah, The Rise of Skywalker, doing okay. It's going to do okay. They will probably make money, but they're not going to make the kind of money back, the profit they want, because they spent so much on this film, and it's going to make less than the other two. It's going to make more than Solo, but it's going to make less than The Last Jedi. So I'm going to leave it there. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment. Comments are good. Comments are fun. Thanks. Bye.